read. I have to read, Papa. I gotta read, okay? You have to read, okay? Yeah, I gotta read, okay? Yes. Give me that belly. Give me that belly. Give me that belly. Give me that belly. I'm not gonna get on pause. I'm not playing right now. I used to let the mic smoke. Now I slam it when I'm done to make sure it's broke. As soon as I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. Make the mic smoke. What are you doing? Snip, snip. Snip, snip. Whoop, whoop, snip. Snip, snip. Snip, motherfucker, snip. What was that you doing? Snip the damn snip, boy. You better be careful. Moment I see you in the tail, off with the huevos. Off with the huevos. The huevos. Snip, 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 snip. You can sit like you ready all day, but snip, snip, your ass be running around here scooting. I ain't playing. I don't believe in it, but it's a different time. Had nothing to do with beliefs. A snip, snip, snip. I ain't playing. What are you? I'm not playing, little nigga. Yeah. AC's off. Let's turn the fan on. Trying to get this itchy to my throat. Snip, snip. You don't want me to snip, snip that ass. Cause I'll be putting bleed, stopping everything up in there. You'll be looking at me with the most dreary eyes, like, please. I told you to listen. So the AI is tripping, y'all. best goddamn handgun. I don't give a fuck with anybody. I was just watching Yoki Stirrup, and it's sad that she's using sex to sell. But hey, man, if it works, it works. With that BBL and the old man back there with the goddamn, you know, it's like, I forget how old it is. It's not that new. It's not that old though. And she went back. I'm watching the second when she went back for the reevaluation of the, you know, this bad motherfucker right here. And I don't give a fuck what any of them say. Now, you know, we had the little puppet come along. The thing was breaking loose and all that shit. Well, if you drop it, this can pop off, depending. But that's like with any magazine. But this motherfucker right here, the echelon, you can't beat it, man. They actually did something right. All right, as far as Springfield Armory, they did something very right. You know, well put together. I'm actually going to port this myself when I get the twisted barrel and a few other things. I'll let you see it. I actually do a video because you can't really show building or something like that. You can show cleaning a gun, but you can't really, I don't know, something about tutorials or something. I don't know. I'm not listening to these motherfuckers, so it is what it is. But what I will do is show you with a compensator, and when I get it, it'll be a couple of months though. When I get it all together, I'm not gonna sit here. Just the barrel, I'm waiting on it, but the compensator, it's only like $189, $98, and it's from, you know what I'm saying? So it's a Springfield Armory compensator. Now the barrel, I believe is also Springfield because I ordered it over at the range. I didn't order it online. The compensator I did from them. Now I could have ordered the barrel, but I was right there, and I was like, you know, I'll get it right now. When I get it, because it's threaded, so when I get it and put it together, so that I don't think is a problem with showing it. I'm not monetized anyway. They're talking about some October shit, like I give a damn. I don't really give a shit. But when you want a good firearm, ladies and gents, and the Glock 43X, I don't care, man. That Glock 43X is that right there. I've got other ones. I can carry my Canic or whatever Canic or whatever. My Glock 17 and 19. I mean, I don't like bringing all that out because I'm not one of those ones. Even though I'm talking about it, it's like you know all these guys doing my 2022 gun. Like nigga, okay, now I know what you got. You know what I'm saying? And you only can shoot one at a time. You feel me? But this one. Get you a goddamn rifle, a gun and a rifle. I don't give a damn who you are. You better get out there and get you a gun and a rifle, and you better get at least 7,000 rounds of ammo. And you better be going and get some practice in. Now that's all I'm gonna say to that. As far as the 2A thing. Cinnamon. I did my morning beat up. I beat you up this morning. I'm not gonna beat you up now, all right, guys? Every morning, if you don't mind coming in, you're gonna get some tea, but I'm gonna smack you upside your head. That's what a big brother's supposed to do, right? Not bully you. I'm not a bully. I'm about to put a little towel down. I'm getting juice everywhere. Holy smart. So I want to read a little something out of one of the books. Our beloved brother Kiramio. I think he's doing something with 423 Drop. Well, this is a genealogical history of the Jews and Muslims in British colonial America by Elizabeth Caldwell Hirschman and Donald and Yates. Now, you know it's coming out by way of New Jersey and New York. But you'll see the time frame, and I'm going to read a little bit to you. Let's turn that down. Okay. Americans have learned in elementary school that their country was founded by a group of brave, white, largely British Christians. Modern reinterpretations recognize the contributions of African and indigenous Americans, but the basic premise has persisted. Now, this groundbreaking study fundamentally challenges the traditional national storyline by postulating that many of the initial colonists were actually of Sephardic Jewish and Muslim Moorish ancestry. Now, you know that Iran, those are Sephardics, right? Just like in Spain and a whole plethora of other places. But what is Sephardic? We'll tap on that after I read the first couple of paragraphs in the book. Now, supporting references include historical writings, ship manifests, wills, land grants, DNA test results, genealogies, and settler lists that provide for the first time the Spanish, Hebrew, Arabic, and Jewish origins of more than 5,000 surnames. The majority widely assumed to be British, by documenting the widespread presence of Jews and Muslims in prominent economic, political, financial, and social positions in all the original colonies. This innovative work offers a fresh perspective on the early American experience. Now, she's dumb, she's Ashkenazi, and she's going to bite platonically based on her narratives, because you got to remember, many other people around the world, many wars from the 5th or 6th century, changed a lot of narratives, incorporated and swayed many things to a different influence. So technically she's going on history written, but rewritten. Many of them came back with these identities and false religions. Some of them were our ancestors and our people. But war has a way, if you haven't been paying attention, of monopolizing a new system of education and perceptions based on a new persona of identities, influences, and everything. I was surprised to learn that some kids were being taught about Jesse Jackson as if he was a great man. But then again, I'm not really surprised. I expected such. Now, anyway, this innovative political, financial, social positions in all the original colonies. Now, the innovative work offers a fresh perspective on the early American experience. Fresh as the grass views, nothing fresh about it. It's stinking old. Elizabeth Caldwell Hirschman is a professor of marketing at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. She has written widely on genealogy and ethnic identity. Okay, marketing at Rutgers. That's like Bill Gates, all in the jab business, but he's supposed to be about computers. Anyway, I digress. Donald N. Yates is principal investigator at a DNA testing company in Phoenix, Arizona. He has published popular and scholarly works in cultural and ethnic studies, history, and population and genetics. Excuse me. Who would need to know genes other than those who are destroying them and those who want to rewrite history and create a new breed of humans? So let's go ahead and read what I was going to, and I'll tap you when I get there, unless you recognize it. Chapter 2. No, we're not stopping chapter 1. We don't do that in my house. Sephardim in the New World. What were the origins of Sephardic Jews? Where and when did they form into a coherent community? Or as Portuguese Jews in 16th century England and in the Netherlands, 16th century. Were y'all paying attention when I was reading Arthur Koestler? Then you know the wars and what was going on. Anyway, it's a good thing that I read the things that I do. For those who remember or recall, excuse me. And the Netherlands expressed it. And you see what's coming out of feeding of the Netherlands now, right? With all this New World Order shit. Anyway. Nation. Most historians believe that a small contingent of Hebrews from ancient Judea made their way to the Iberian Peninsula by the time of the rise of Rome. Others propose the nucleus of Sephardic may have come into being there much earlier and around the time of the building of the Second Temple. Didn't we cross that off? We were reading that pretty much in, where's it at? A little bit of original history of ancient America, and I think the gods of Eden, as far as the narrative of historical events and affairs. All right, let's go ahead. And it's another book. Anyway, and listen to this. I need you to listen. Have come into being there much earlier around the existence, right? The time of the building of the Second Temple in the 6th century BCE, before the Common Era. Common to who? Jews were often fellow travelers with Phoenicians. Oh yeah, that's right, on the tablet. You already know what I'm talking about. Europe, the Algonquin, the fall of what? Atlantis. Pay good attention, people. Who occupied parts of Spain in the mid-18th century. In the mid-8th century, excuse me. You know what war was going on over there with these goddamn Jews? Fake, Ashkenazis. BCE. You know she's not going to deny her fake Jewish heritage. Any of them going to do that? Only the true ones. And certainly, Spanish Jewry was well established by Roman times, when Jews constituted a quarter of the population in the East Mediterranean and a tenth in the empire as a whole. These figures mirror the frequencies of male genetic lineage, J, a predictor of the distribution of Jews. Judaic scholar Paul Wexler, however, maintained that the majority of Sephardic Jews was of North African Berber origin and converted. Atlantis split. The people who are, it's Nubia, but you know what they're saying, right? Berber origin, and converted to Judaism sometime before the 711 CE, Common Era. Arab invasion of the Iberian Peninsula, and the word Sephardi itself has been explained as a form of North African Gothic swart, and we know that the Arabs are a hybrid race of individuals. But now, when it comes to those who conquered, who they were conquering, when they say swart, like George Washington, it means black, dark people. It's right here. So George Washington was as swarthy as Abe Lincoln. Hello! An etymology with roots in the 5th century Common Era, CE, Vandal and Visigothic invasions. An alternative, or supplementary, if you don't mind, theory is that a large number of Sephardic Jews came into existence with a conversion event in southern France, 750 to 900 before the Common Era, excuse me. A politicizing movement is believed to have been centered on the establishment of a prominent Talmudic academy in Narbonne. And we know when the Talmud came into existence. It's a perversion, people. That means little children, all that garbage. For those who have read the Talmud, I would ask you to read it while you've got the chance. The original. Now, support, I think there's a PDF you can download. Supporting the conversion of Frankish, Burgundian, and Languedoc believe themselves to be descendants of King David of Israel. This belief evidently was fostered by the Davidic descended Babylonian Jews who founded the Narbonne Academy, chief among them Machir and his children and grandchildren, who intermarried with the with the Carolingian and Aquitanian nobility. Carolingian, all right, like Carolina, and Aquitanian nobility. It was the master of the Narbonne yeshiva, and we know yeshiva is not of the true Aramaic Hebraic language. That's Yiddish, people. A new language. Exarch Machir ben Hababibi, also known as Theodoric, Count of Septimania, variously referred to by contemporaries as King of the Jews and Prince of Narbonne, reputedly of Davidic descent himself, who introduced the tradition when he arrived from Babylon in 770 Common Era, 771 CE. Okay, we're talking about a century and over and a half after the 6th, people. Thus, when these Roman, Frankish, and Visigothic and other local countrymen had converted to Judaism, they saw themselves as adoptive heirs of the house of David. Adoptive heirs of the house of David. In a few generations, a mythic lineage was remembered as a hereditary claim founded on blood and genealogy. A mythic lineage. It was passed forward as truth. See Appendix A and the good name. We'll go back there later, not now. In the 19th century, Davis was the second best known Jewish name in England. borne by 1 in 32 of donors to Jewish charitable causes, according to Joseph Jacobs' tally for the Jewish Encyclopedia. In a sense, all Jews are converts. And this is her. She's speaking, then she knows that she is not of the true lineage. Contemporary Jewish studies generally acknowledge that the monotheistic, endogamous Hebrews portrayed in the Bible are largely mythic constructions used to create cosmological coherence and a nationalistic concept of identity across a very diverse landscape of tribes and ethnic groups in the ancient Middle East. It was the rule rather than exception among various settlements of early Jews to backslide into the worship of local pagan cults and deities, especially Astarte and Astaroth. Now, consort of the powerful Canaanite god Baal, even at the time of the Roman dispersal from Judea, Jews comprised various classes and royal aristocratic in common, and exhibited wavering degrees of commitment to monotheism and Mosaic law. Furthermore, many had become Hellenized, taking on Greek names, speaking, reading, and writing in Koine Greek rather than Hebrew, even adopting Greek customs. And I think DJ has showed y'all much of this. Greek customs such as, which y'all probably find confusing, but I always told them baby steps because y'all would be bumping your head in the wall. Greek customs such as social bathing, going to the theaters, and visiting pagan temples. Not even the most zealous modern-day genealogical efforts have been able to establish a direct, unbroken link to the earliest Israelite and Palestinian rabbis, high priests of the temple, or for that matter, biblical patriarchs in remote antiquity. Thus, instead of using a norm or authenticity built around a core of founding fathers and mothers, one is perhaps better advised, they didn't separate, see that? Advised to approach Judaism as an ever-changing multi-ethnic religion surviving the cataclysms of history. Yes, the destruction of our ancestors around the earth. By constantly reinventing and reconstituting itself. If historical Jews had gone through occasional bottlenecks and periodic disintegration, they have also experienced periods of triumphal expansion and I forget this word. It's Ephrosynes, like something like that. Anyway, in those periods of upswing, conversion to Judaism rather than persecution and apostasy was the rule. The Roman world was one such golden age, and early medieval Spain and southern France another. That's why it's important, and I'm only reading this because I know how to break things down based on history and what I know. You have to research it. There's a reason why I read Arthur Koestler. It broke all that down, all the different wars and who. And he always seemed to make themselves subtle while expanding and telling you everywhere that they would move into, how they would take over. It'd be about finance, this, that, and the other, and then it would bring what? Calamity. And they would even sit there with their so-called people who they support and allow another nation, by their persuasion, order out of chaos, to come in and make war and sit there and then clean up and grab the women and the children, do as they always subjected and do, and create a new identity given a century or two, and then move on to the next with those as soldiers and armies. You know, when we look at Hitler, right? And we look at Germany, I just had to call this History Channel motherfucker on his fake ass narrative because he was talking about what was that man's name? The so-called Negro who was 15 years old when the war came, World War II. I think his mother from First World War was German and American autochthonous. You know, Negroes, what they say, or black, because they are very ignorant. That's why I can't listen to History Channel on them, because they're antonyms and grammar and all that is felonious. It pushes the narrative further and further. And this is how we get away from the truth. If we don't speak the truth and power to the truth, we will become subjects and weak. So anyway, his name was Getz or something like that, Sherman. Right? He passed away in 1816. He was in a so-called concentration camp. Now, what they alluded to, which dumb Peckerwood didn't pay attention to, I wish you would come over here and watch this, right, is the fact that he even admitted to the concentration camp he was in, 55,000 people were murdered. And out of that, only 11,000 so-called Judean Jews. Well, they were Ashkenazis. They were the problem and troublemakers, the homosexuals, and every goddamn thing else Labas in a society where the perversion was moved based on Catholic redirection. Yet Hitler played a part because he wasn't educated. He fought in a war where he wanted to be some. He got wounded. He was a punk. And yet he was able to influence people, and because there were other people who were supporting and whispering in other people's ears. Yet he was pushing how there wasn't that many so-called black folks in there. Nigga, a quarter of all Germany was mulatto or Negro. And you can see that when they went to Africa and they subpoenaed, they gathered all those who are of origin from Africa to fight for them. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of so-called Nubian troops. These pale-skinned peckerwoods in our land, from between Sweden and all these other Ashkenazi bastards, don't even know how to incorporate and tell the damn truth. But they'll go, if they listen to this, and go and start putting stuff together and say, no, this is what happened. And then it's a redirect and a cross-examination. You'll see that then they'll change the story. Okay, we made a mistake. This is what they think is cleanup, because they believe that white supremacy is the influence when they claim they're not white. I know hundreds of people from New York, Pennsylvania, and Detroit who went over to Israel based on the 70s and 80s, who converted to Judaism and went over there to cause more problems and kill them with their racist ideology. Born in a vat of deception and lies. Cabbage Patch Babies. Whether, you see what I'm saying? This stuff is simple. It's not complicated, people. The problem with y'all, though, is you haven't rose to the occasion because you're afraid of death. And death is at your damn door knocking. Was that quaint enough for you? I'm not beating you up. I'm just talking some things. It could be all hypothetical. It could be fake. It could be wrong. And y'all should thank DJ, because I refuse to do all that, and he's been doing quite a wonderful job breaking certain words down that some people will probably find loony, but you need to look them up. I just prefer him to take baby steps, because he can hit you in the gut pretty good, can't he? Now, I love it. Terra Infinita, extraterrestrial worlds and their civilizations, a story told by the woman who was born in the lands behind the ice walls. But another thing I want you to think that I'm always reminding you, who would put them to do it? Let me elevate you. Memphis, Tennessee. You see the Pantheon, they call it the copy because the original one was destroyed, so they built a smaller one. Yes, you saw the original one in 1917 based out of the 1800s, right? It was blown up or something. See that right there? Do you know what the Nike sign represents? Please, somebody. I know some of y'all know. Please entertain me and share it with the brothers and sisters here. Please, what does the sign Nike mean? When you go on the court system, who is that guy that's blindfolded holding the scales? Is that not the goddess Athena? What does Nike represent? No. The goddess Athena is hold what you might call Tinkerbell. Okay? An angel, right? Who is the angel? Nike. What does Nike represent? The wing. So you're always giving energy to a false god, but a living thing. Saturn, Tinkerbell, Nike. Either way. Because you got to remember, what's that fake statue that's always laying back with the finger and the other finger up touching the god? What statue is that? What statue is that? Big, naked? And based on Greece, that's supposed to be what god with a female inside. That's why man with man relationship was the highest sexual conditioning, which is a lie. I'm just educating you people. That's all I'm doing. Based upon Nimrod, who shook his fists at the creation. Because they're like, where is the God? We're gods. Because see, they forgot. Creator don't answer to nobody. This is how stupid they are. Know things that he has created. He's created many worlds and many realms. You can walk and see them, but they're perverse. Not all. Let me give you a little fucking hand here. Y'all have no clue. Hell, there's a statue, I think, of the so-called Tennessee Hearthian, right? This big as shit, goddess of Athena. And what's that holding in its hand? A 6'4" statue of Nike, or whatever name you want to give the motherfucker. Y'all have no clue. Y'all have absolutely no fucking clue. Let me get back to reading. So anyway, y'all know when I used to sell drugs, I used to go to Manhattan, right? World Trade, well, not the World Trade Center, I used to go there too, but when you get to the stock market, right, stock exchange, right? What's the big bull? What does it represent? And the idiots standing around touching it, taking pictures. I used to be with my fiance, be like, what the fuck I want to stand by that thing for? Hell no, y'all weird motherfuckers here, man. Something I got up in y'all. I said I ain't drinking no more tea and water from any faucet around this motherfucker. You motherfuckers are fucked up. That right there is not a good thing. What do you mean? Who do you think put it there? Who created and birthed that big ass bull down there in New York? Can somebody? Achilles. Yes, well, Achilles is based off of that. But what is Nike about? Speed, right? Achilles heel, it's a whole lot. Regardless, remember there's many names. Bomb. Let's go to ball. Let's keep it rolling forward so I can get back to reading these 3 books, because later on I'm going to come on about 7 8. I'm not doing a podcast. I decided to do one next Wednesday. But the ball, who commissioned it? Who wanted it built and put there? Achilles, yes. Another name. But if you only knew who your ancestors were. That's why they don't want you to rise back up and take that position. And they got all these dumb Peckerwoods and niggas running around. Some of them thinking that they're going to be all right, misguiding you, not knowing that we are the true gods of this firmament. Who sponsored the Baal statue? Who did it? Anyway, let me go ahead and get the reading while y'all titty-o through that, okay? Again, a story told by the woman who was born in the lands behind the ice walls, nos confoundum, means no confusion, by Claudia Nocelli, okay? And you always got to show when they have a picture of who they are. Spanish brother. Problem is, a lot of these Spanish people have our bloodline in them. I don't like calling them Spanish either. I just don't. So where we at? The land of the clones, right? We did Pleiades, right? No, we did land of the clones. Excuse me, my apologies. Because they were, yeah. So, we did reptilians yesterday, right? Aquilius, my bloodline, okay? So we're at the celestial lands and other extraterrestrial worlds, okay? Now, the celestial lands, Terra Incognita, and you have between it Thursday, well, you have Venus and all that. We'll cover that. Let's go ahead and read it. And Ashkashi Mofo and Modica or Modici felt from Monica, right? Felt that he owed something to Americans for accepting him all those years earlier and supporting his career as a sculptor. The Modica paid he was an Ashkenaz of his own money, of course, in order to build the Chachking bull. Yes, Baal representation. And people go touching and taking pictures, climbing up on it, break little dances, juking around it as if it's something because they're ignorant as fuck. If our people knew the truth, they'd stay 1,000 yards, 5,000 yards away and wouldn't even look at it. I created a stir going to get my pizza when I was down there, and she was like, Monique Frazier, she's passed on, beloved baby, beautiful woman. She's from Norton, New Jersey. She passed on. She was like, I looked at her and says, and you was coming up in the Jehovah Witness family, you motherfuckers lost your mind. She was like, what's wrong? I'm going to get my pizza and we're getting the hell up out of here. Was it because you used to sell drugs? I can't be around that shit. I was serious. Now, mind you, I was in my 30s and she was just looking at me like, you okay? Hell no. Get the fuck away from this. And the people were looking at me like, what's wrong with him? Because you got to remember, we're centered, and the streets are a wonderful, beautiful place to walk around. They need that motherfucker destroyed. But anywho, Chapter 18, the Celestial Lands and Other Extraterrestrial Worlds. There are many other worlds that are being left out of this book, and that soon will also be detailed about them. There are so many extraterrestrial races that struggle to survive in a system that seems to lead to mere luck, the fate of each one. Those who survive are those who die. It should also be noted that there are many others, although to a lesser extent, where peace and development reigns. Perhaps because the parasitic race did not see or find anything interesting. Perhaps they monitor them from afar, or simply their development was subsequent to the visits in their lands and go unnoticed. Other lands, as we have seen, did not even manage to develop completely. And when the parasites entered their worlds and emptied their lands along with their dreams, besides staining their history completely with blood, manipulated and changed their future forever. The human being was broken and still could not twist the destiny for which it was created. His kingdom was taken a long time ago, and it does not seem that they will leave the throne soon. Perhaps it is time to reveal themselves to the despot king. It is true that at least 3 colonizing races weigh on us. And although we are still standing, we are being emptied spiritually every day. The death of the human being will not be physical, but it will be when we reach the point that there is no being in the known lands who knows that inside is his spiritual potential enough to change everything around. We must also learn from many other races that manage to overcome. We must follow some of their techniques to overcome the oppressive and manipulative power in which we live here. And I've been sharing them with y'all every day. And only 2 or 3 are taking heed out of all of y'all. Pathetic. Many of these races are willing to help in the path towards the awakening and human freedom. It should not be forgotten, and the Pelskins will never get it right, because even though it doesn't matter what they're doing, only the few who've actually been arguing and telling people who we are, until the dumb peckerwoods realize who we are and recognize it and grab hold. Until then, it won't change, for they are cowards, and they probably never will, the majority. It should not be forgotten that the celestial lands, the mysterious and hidden lands where the parasites can never enter, and that they tried with all that technology together, continue to keep our secret, the one that only we humans carry, the source of life. Maybe we are the link to the other lands behind this great dome. The fear of the colonizers is real, because they cannot manipulate our essence. They can only manipulate our physical environment. Nothing can harm our inner self. It is time to wake up, and when we move on, we can see them and we can see everything. And if you're destined, you can return. But you would take an orchestra to get you here, trust me. So we'll get into part 2, the interview with Helen, the known lands, and the last reset. Trust me, it'd take an orchestra. It's just to make sure you don't get jabbed up and caught up in that shit. But then the thing is, when you get here, what happens? A whole lot of shit. It's a motherfucker. So deciding to come back. But they don't know when you come back. That's why they got to do every baby, everyone the same. And they can't tell. Anyway, let's go ahead. Lord George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America, Eldermont Classic. Any donations are appreciated. We're going to get some more books. I'm thinking about ordering. We got enough to order a few books, and I'm thinking about it. Well, about 4 or 5. But the way things are going, I'm gonna hold off for a little longer until we get that number. Then I'll order as many as possible. You know, we're still sitting at 700, I think, and 58 or something like that, if I remember right. Cosmic Cell. I'm gonna stop those notifications. I'm tired of them. Anyway, in the second sentence of the paragraph quoted from the Literary Gazette, the editor has given the identical cause why the Mexican Aborigines are still found upon their lands, not as owners, but as slaves. That they did intermarry, enter into a combination, mind you, of relations, and thence the two races are apparent upon the strongest ground of argument, religious principles in which, with all Aborigines, are the guides to their sections. Therefore, the editor, by his remarks upon the Mexican race, actually solved, though unconsciously, the problem proposed in his first sentence, in forming a comparison between the Spanish invasion of by Cortez in 1520, and the landing of the Pilgrim Fathers in 1620. Any writer must fail, for they're no father of ours, right? For without similitude, there can be no comparison. Contrast is the word, and never in the history of nations was there a greater contrast than between the Spanish and Anglo-Saxon races, in their motive in landing in Mexico and in New England. You hear that? Spanish and Anglo-Saxons. The fuck are they doing here? But they're claiming to be us. Not all of them. Got to remember, mixing creates a phenomenon. There are many Pelskins running around who are nothing but just mere Negroes and blacks. As by the narrative, trust me. Melanated, autochthonous, bloodlines. Don't get Eartha Kitt was adopted, and they want to make her like she was black and something. She was autochthonous all the way through and through. She didn't even really know her real history. Lena Horne, same thing. And we can go on beyond that. Even with that punk rainbow fag like a cigarette. What's his name? The federal FBI? Yeah, him. I don't want to say the motherfucking name. I want him, wherever he at, I hope he stays mishmashed and everything else. Oh, he's fucked up, believe me. In their motive in landing in Mexico and in New England. But the editor has written, though the thirst of gold was the same in both instances, it does appear, and it is melancholy to reflect upon it, that something of nobler impulses belong to the elder, or Spanish, era. Cortez and Pizarro, and their bands of pirates, were alone possessed with an unquenchable thirst of gold. It was the god of their idolatry. Even the humane Columbus could only hold his power with the Spanish government by sending home the precious metal. And that is a blotch. Oh, and when it fell, so declined his influence. And it at least, and we know his name was not Columbus, anyway, compelled him to have recourse to making slaves of the natives of Hispaniola. And each, that name right there is a fake ass name, just like Mexico. And each had allotted to him a task of bringing a small bell full of gold from the mountain. And if they failed, stripes were their punishment. That means lashes of the whips. And of all the natives, not 1 acre of land was purchased or even attempted. The Spaniards found, as we will prove, branches of Christianity. And yet, with the crucifix in one hand and the brand or dagger in the other, they sacrificed 11 million of human beings to the unhallowed invasions. So you see, let me read that again. They sacrificed 11 millions of human beings to the unhallowed invasions, lust and thirst for gold. But were the English so possessed when in the depth of the dreary winter they braved the dangers of the broad Atlantic? What drove that band of Pilgrim Fathers forth to seek an unknown wilderness? See, this is where they fuck up. Anyway, for a home and shelter. Was it gold? Would they have dealt with money changers in the temple? No. One thought alone throbbed within their hearts to worship their God and Savior according to the solemn dictates of their conscience. They were Englishmen and the first promulgators of religious and civil freedom in the Western Hemisphere. Upon their landing, did they enslave the natives for gold findings? No. They offered the hand of amity, and in it they gave gold for acres, and obtained the land by fair and honorable purchase. Entering upon their pilgrimage, I hate these fucking words. Pilgrimage, I really do, I detest it. Upon the principle only of religious freedom, the northern native has been ever permitted to enjoy the same, and not a second of that land will prove that the English ever sacrificed a human being upon the ground of religious belief or disbelief. It is the very principle of the contrast between the Spanish conquest and the English landing on the Western continent. We know that that's false. We know that they're the ones that came back, besides the melanated ones who were no history of truth, were the Ashkenaz. The first pilgrims became the fucking Jews. Prove me wrong. I'll tell you, tell me to my face. That has made the essential difference. They became the Quakers, the Mormons, all that shit. Even to this day, in the stability of the governments of the two European races, and they sacrificed many of our people. Spanish and Anglo-Saxon, the former was based upon injustice, lust, and avarice. Thence can be traced the eventual downfall of the Spanish principles in South America. But the latter was freedom founded and based upon laws, virtue, equity, talking about up north, and thence, as a consequence, the Anglo-Saxon family still remained firm and secure by lies. Nothing but lies and bastardizations of themselves further. Their house being built upon a rock and daring, like the parent country, the wild elements of tyranny, even to approach the foundation, they fear no comparison with a blood-stained mansion erected upon the sands, and which the waves of time have so far swept from view, that even the false proportions would have been lost, had not history placed them in her archives as a warning to posterity. Apology, we trust, is not required for this almost digressive note. The just defense of the character of England and the United States has been our only motive, and that being our rule of action through life, either in public or private, we could not avoid it. George Jones. So they were just as fucking bad, as I stated. And next we'll get into section 4, the sepulchre, analogies, and mummies of Egypt, Tariff, and Peru, and etc. I see some of you have found the stuff about the blue roofs and all that. That's good. Outstanding. So I take it all your clothes in your closet are gonna get thrown away, and you're gonna start wearing blue socks, blue drawers. Y'all gonna be crippin'. And so we'll come back. We had a goddess of Eden, the Anunnaki, blah blah blah, and Mr. William Cooper himself. And I hope y'all enjoyed that read. I find this book. I've been jumping through it and everything. You know me. And the ancient and modern Britons, the same thing. Though I'm very aware of who the original people of the lands are, because I've been to all of them. Fuck, I can't even count how many times I've been to England, Britain. Britain is more than England. Between the Muslims, the Jews, Palestine, everywhere I've been overseas, it's just, and sitting down with talking to people. Some of them, the women over there did the same thing, they head to head. And we're talking about the 80s, people. Now these days, look, man, the enemy is, you know how many fires there are going on right now? Oh yeah, they're arresting some of the arsonists, the crazies that should be locked up. But they're everywhere. The fires are everywhere. Some man-made, some not. Well, it's all man-made. You know, they're locking people up. I hope y'all enjoyed that reading. I really do. Let me go ahead and call everybody out. Let's see what came in. I think I shouted some of y'all. Didn't know. DJ, what's going on, beloved? Snoo, what's up, baby girl? That's my number one, y'all. Oh, what's going on, tribe, baby? Herbo, what's going on, beloved? Orders. Eddie, yeah, he be doing it. I'm trying to tell y'all, look the stuff up. I'm telling you. Look it up. I'm telling y'all. I hope that I didn't beat y'all up so much with the Nike and Dana, because you know when you go into those fake ass courts, a fucking fake ass law with those magistrate, look it up to its deepest part, right? You're going into the house, the guys Dana's with those bastards, like my godmother, my aunt Shirley Strickland, Big Pontiac. What's up, beloved? Greetings, beloved. What's going on? Just don't write me out of my heritage. That's right. That's right. I know that's right. Also, yeah, is the source of in Peckerwoods. Yeah, Big. You know I got to keep it 100. It's the same when I was in New York and everywhere else. Shit, Peckerwoods and pale faces, and that goes for the nasty bastards. Not all of them are that, but I'm not gonna call them white. The good ones are just less melanated. That's all. Unless they're, lepers and that super white shit, you know what I'm saying? Which I have many brothers and sisters who I love. My boy Scott Edwards Wolf, wonderful brother. Used to be over in Slab City. He's back over, I think he's in the Carolinas now. And a whole lot of other brothers and sisters that we grew up who are albino. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but that's family. There were tribes. I showed people Louisiana Gazette. I don't think I have the copy no more on my phone because I had to make space and it was pretty big. Showing the Twas of the Mississippi, and yeah, the Twas of the Mississippi, always from here, and the albino tribes. Actual drawings that I don't even think you could find. I don't even know if the Library of Congress even kept them when they did that little re-innovation during this fake-demic shit that happened. We were already a great nation of nations, exactly. And Tartary doesn't go away because of that, exactly. James, what's going on, beloved? Over the fear of death, they will become more. And that's the whole thing, but everybody wants to walk around talking it. They're not walking in it. All that every being walked around, son, grandmother, mother, Michael. Yes. Or Greek God. Yes. It just matter of terms, goddamn. They can say they can call it an African God. They can call it Prussian God, German, Georgian God. It don't matter. They're all fake. Oh, they're real things. But they're not. That's why I had to break down the etymology of God about my first 50 video, my first 25 videos. I broke down the etymology of the word God. And people just refuse to accept it. And then I'm telling them sources and references to help them. When I was overseas, I was like, why are these motherfuckers, so many different people and countries are, all these so-called Bill Maher's, you know what I'm saying? These atheists. But then I found out atheism is a religion. And I was like, wait a minute, and a cult-like movement. I was like, make sense of that. But that was based upon my ignorance and not look at it. But now I'm well aware of what all of it is. First of all, my analogy of what I did. Choose the lesser of two evils. Well, if you make a choice, you're just as evil. You're complicit. Neither one's less. They're both evil. The thing is not to choose and let them be the evil and be righteous and stand upish. Stop playing with this word God. The phenomenon, whether it's to push you away and bring you into, is to keep you in this fake sanctimonious narrative, to keep you shallow and hollow, to have you outsourcing all of who you are. The greatest thing, as I've read, and as you should know, is within you. So if you're looking outside of yourself, how can you not escape the vials of what they do? Mr. C, what's going on, beloved? Herb, I got you already. You're never late. There's no such thing. You can always go back and watch it again, beloved. Don't say you lived. I enjoyed the Twin Towers. Can't love it. It's a building, baby. Yeah, I'm grateful. I was on my way over there. That's how I ended up down there when them shits came down. Dead ass serious. I remember my brother Daniel Smith went and worked over there. I was already working over there for a week, and they were talking about y'all can hand out Gatorade and water Motherfucker with Red Cross, man, them people was weird as fuck. And then FEMA come in looking weird than a motherfucker. Weird, man, FEMA had some weird looking motherfuckers. I said, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Fuck this shit. I went back to motherfucking Brooklyn. No, we didn't die from the diseases they brought here. That's a fucking lie. We died because we started commingling with them when we were supposed to. And our people knew it. And many people were told, don't go, don't do that. And they did it because of their ignorance. Fighting, a lot of fighting going on. We ruled all and we ruled everywhere. It wasn't a rule. It was responsibilities we had on this earth. It's not about rule. That's their narrative. That's chaos. We didn't have to rule anything. Order was established. We were protecting it and doing a damn good job. But we always have these motherfuckers on the inside who brought calamity and fall. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's call on. That this Millie going back to the source. Yes. And it's more than that, actually. It's more than that. It's a manifestation of the conception of my religion and being a man. But that's the relationship. And that's how they throw people off. And people don't even read. That's why they go listen to an ignorant motherfucker. And then they juking their joint. They're juking their energy way, saying, let's make them in our image. For ye are gods. Like, how do you, and that's just too, like, out of so many comments throughout all the apocryphy and everything else. But it's funny how we adhere to the shit. We're righteous people. We're not required that. We need more ethical practices based on togetherness. But first you must remove that bullshit. You got to remove it. And remove any emotion and feeling that comes with that bullshit of the world they've created. Or you're a stigma to your own eye. Do you know what that means? What is the eye? But a window to the what? Soul, right? For if it's dark, what is there to be seen? But if there is light, what is there to gather? More, right? You know that old joke, I want more, but they would make you think it's about gluttony? What is wrong with being selfish for your kinfolk, your kindred, and wanting more of their light to be shared robustly? I'm not going to keep doing this, y'all, okay? And anybody got offended this morning, I'm a straight shooter. Fuck your offense. But it serves a purpose. We need the strong in here, not the weak. This is not it. And I haven't said nothing yet. It's not ego. That's the truth. I haven't said shit yet. So anyway, let me shut it down. I got to run out and run back. Get myself situated. I really don't want to leave because somebody keeps coming in my motherfucking place. But this time I got my little cameras hitting up. So I'll be back. Anyway, number of love and respect. I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to this old fogey. It's going to be a good read. All right? The greatest rulers were always the best servants of the people. Truly, we all are. See y'all later.